joining us today. It is a pleasure to stand before you as we embark on this transformative journey with BizDateUp. I am G. Chandan, the founder of BizDateUp, and I'm thrilled to share our vision with you. BizDateUp isn't just another investment platform. It's a beacon of opportunities and empowerment for startups and investors worldwide. My co-founder Meet Jain and I, though young in age, bring a fire within us, a passion to drive change and innovation in the entrepreneurial landscape. BizDateUp is more than just a platform. It's a movement to democratize access to capital and resources, to break down barriers and unlock opportunities for all. With our user-friendly interface and cutting-edge technology, we are bridging the gap between visionaries and backers, creating a seamless ecosystem where ideas flourish and connections drive. Today marks a pivotal moment in the journey of BizDateUp, a chapter of growth, innovation, and boundless possibilities. As we stand on the precipice of unprecedented success, I am honored to share you with our vision for the future and the transformative initiatives that lie ahead. BizDateUp's unwavering commitment to excellence and our relentless pursuit of value creation have yielded remarkable results, with our investments delivering an impressive 3.5x returns, which is 350% returns, surpassing a $10 million mark. This success is a testament to our steadfast dedication to nurturing promising startups and empowering visionary entrepreneurs. Now I would like my co-founder Meet to speak about the future of BizDateUp.
So, I will just introduce myself, and as Jeet said, we have an fire in us, to take BizDateUp ahead. There are certain growth initiatives what we have planned for BizDateUp, right? Building upon the foundation of the achievement, I am thrilled to, announce our plans to launch an angel fund under the category 1 of an alternative investment fund AIF regime with a projected corpus of approximately $25 million, which will be roughly 100 crore of corpus addition to a green shoe of 100 crores. This angel fund will serve a beacon of opportunities for early stage startups, providing them with essential capital support needed to thrive in today's competitive landscape. We are confident in securing the requisite license within the next 6 months, paving the way for a new era of growth and innovation. Addition to that, furthermore, we are in a quest to expand our impact and reach. We are delighted to unveil a strategic partnership with one of our top angel networks for category 2 venture fund as well, boasting an impressive corpus of $60 million, right? And that's not all. We are also introducing GAP, which is a global advisory board that will consist of 21 members, and this board will help startups with an advisory with lot of different advisors sitting on the board, right? Now I would like Jeet to take over, and I would like Press to start with the.
So we would like to start with the questions.
Firstly, I want to ask what is the mission and what is the work of BizData in the startup ecosystem?
Okay, BizDateUp is a pioneering venture dedicated to empowering startups and driving innovation within the ecosystem. Our mission is to provide comprehensive support to budding entrepreneurs, ranging from financial assistance to mentorship and networking opportunities, ultimately fostering a culture of innovation and growth.
Can you give some example where you have invested in a startup and how did you validate that startup as such?
I would like to add on this. There are monthly more than 200 to 300 startups daily come on our way in terms of raising funds. Now it has been very difficult, as Jeet said. It goes through a scrutinization process, and then out of which, when it comes to our table, it is just a list of another 20, 30 pedigree startups which we wanted to give to our investors, right? Success, as you asked, what have been which startups we have invested and what has been the returns we have given. So over the year, we have invested through our platform is around 25 startups, and some of the success stories has been Zevo, right? It has been one of the success stories where we invested 1 year back, and right now it is ranging at a good return of around 5 to 6x returns to our investors. Addition to that, there are certain more initiatives into sustainability. There are initiatives which we have taken into digital twins, right? So there has been around a couple of 6-7 startups which have given a good return to our investors. I will name is Zevo, Twin, PDRL, Revamp Moto. Those will be, the names.
Among your portfolio, I mean, any successful exit or acquisition? Do you have any example of that?
Successful exit, we are expecting some successful exits this year. Like some are coming with their SME IPOs, some are being acquired with some companies. I would just name randomly of the with the name of some startups. We have PDRL, we have Bureau Green, we have even CEO as said before, we have even Battery, and it's an electric mobility EV company which is going to plan their IPO soon. And we have multiple other portfolio startups of ours which is into even deep tech. One of our company has been shifted to Dubai recently, partnering with top people there. So yeah, we have a lot of growth in this segment.
And lastly, what's the vision for your business startup and how you're going to change that scenario on it?
So see, as Meet said before, our major focus or our major portfolio does not come from tier 1 cities. We have a major portfolio of startups from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. See, I believe tier 2 and tier 3 and going ahead cities have a lot of aspiration. So in tier 1, we see a lot of crowd which is into partying or a very different culture, and it's a very mixed crowd. Like 80-90% people are not into right direction in tier 1 cities. But if you go to tier 2 and below cities, you see a lot of aspiration and a lot of movement of doing such very different things. Like I would like to name one of our portfolio startups, PDRL, which is into drone innovation. Coming from a tier 2 and tier 3 city, they are from Nasik. They have created a technology of cloud technology for drones, and like maximum, like they serve maximum 60% of the clients in India in the drone segment. So you think coming from a tier 2, tier 3 city, having so much of experience, so much of aspiration, companies like them come and grow, and we have a strong vision in that phase. See, the focus what we come from कि हम लोग आज की तारीख में जो भी काम कर रहे हैं, it is all about the focus on India's vision. Me and me both have a very relied vision. We see next in 5, 7 years, 10 years, India going into very much trillions of economy. आज जो India 3 trillion टच की है और 4 trillion टच कर रही है, India next 5, 7, 10, 20 trillion dollar soon बहुत टच करेगी. And as co-founders and as strong believers in India, we would like to bet on the economy of India, and we ourselves want to focus a lot on the growing economies of the scale of India.
What are the criteria you take? Like ये रहना चाहिए criteria तो हमें support करेंगे या fund देंगे. What are the criteria?
Okay, simple. So I'll tell you some basic criteria of it. We support all kinds of startup. चाहे उसको 25 लाख रुपया चाहिए हो, 5 चाहिए हो, 50 लाख चाहिए, करोड़ चाहिए, 2 करोड़ चाहिए, 5 crores, 10 crores. We support all kinds of startup. So first thing, there is no other thing कि कोई startup whatever amount they ask, that is not a criteria for us. The major criteria which we have is innovation, scale, and the founders. See, we would like to bet on the founders more than anything else, because in any company, founders can change the game anytime. Second is innovation of the product which they have made. Whether it's a service company, SaaS company, tech company, or a product company, we want to believe in the product of it. So any founder who has made a right product and has the right vision to it, we would like to support all kinds of founders. So yeah, please, sir.
Are you doing some collaborations with some other companies for the funding, or like what are your 5-year plan or 10-year plan like?
Right. Akash, please.
Good evening, everyone. So, as the question asked, what is our strategic planning for next 5 years or next 10 years? What we see is we just don't want to be into the space of investments. We are going to pivot and scale our entire operations and marketing into all various sectors. What we aim as, we want to be one of the key players in the Indian startup ecosystem. We want to promote sustainability as well as do strategic tie-ups with each and every player in the startup ecosystem. Whether somebody is into finance sector, somebody providing marketing to startups, somebody a big VC or a small VC. We are looking to have strategic collaborations with all the players, okay, and provide a holistic solution for the entire startup ecosystem and the startup community. Okay, right now also as we speak, day in day out we are going ahead and partnering up with different VCs, different angel funds, as well as service providers into the industry. Okay, our marketing through our marketing we are also approaching and spreading awareness about how to build a startups, or how to start the angel investment journey, so that new angel investors can also get into the system, as well as new startup founders can also get the aspiration to begin their journey. So in a way we are collaborative, strategic, and taking a long term plan to boost the entire ecosystem. That's what is our vision and plan for next 5 to 10 years.
Such kind of thing to go ahead, how you are going to support, like, or are you going to adapt AI also in your technologies things, because it is shortening the time and all.
I think I will take up this answer. See, AI, ChatGPT and other things are coming up. That is going to be a part of life very soon. So all relevant technologies are being adopted, be it at operational level, be it at technology platform level. At the same time, focus is there to provide funding support to the companies from generative and AI side as well. So that's there. You can refer to our website, and probably every 6 months once you refer to the website of BizDateUp, you will find a lot of back-end application of AI in terms of the user experience and the automations.
कंपनीज आप लोगों के साथ जुड़े हैं, और इंडिया के बाहर भी क्या आप लोग प्लान कर रहे हैं जाने का?
See, that's a very interesting idea, what you said. I will break that into two parts. Going outside India has to be linked to more of the main business, then underlying can be a generative AI. Coming back to overseas AI companies, if they are coming into India, BizDateUp platform can provide a support. That's one. Many times, the underlying client accounts startup from India, they need lot of technological collaborations, a partnership. Sometimes they have to buy out certain things. So that's where, as a part of mentorship program and while raising the funding, that's being guided, and then that's being implemented in underlying startup client as well.
Okay, if we talk about
Just one thing, I would like to add to the point, as we are speaking on the generative AI topic. As we speak, our product teams are also into development. Okay, they are developing a solution on our platform itself. Currently, as I said, we are all about boosting the startup ecosystem and supporting the budding entrepreneurs. Okay, so one of the major challenges is about creating pitch decks and getting their financials rights and getting their finance sorted. It's the biggest challenge for any startup. Okay, so currently we are into the process of getting such technology through AI on our platform, where we would be helping startup founders to get their finances, models, as well as their pitch decks created on the platform itself. So it can be a quick solution for them and an easier way alternative to getting multiple services into the market.
Thank you. So I'd like to talk about the emerging markets that we'll be looking into. So they are AI, there's deep tech, there's of course blockchain and distributed ledger technology. And I think the main focus we would like to bring on is towards digitalizing traditional industries. And of course there's IoT and green energy and sustainability.
सो इंडिया कितना बड़ा मार्केट है, और इंडियन गवर्नमेंट जो मोदी जी का मेक इन इंडिया जो इनिशिएटिव, उससे कितना आप लोग सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं या आप जुड़े हैं, क्योंकि स्टार्टअप वाला कंट्री है, यंग यूथ कंट्री है, सो कितना बड़ा मार्केट?
सर अभी तो 100% हम लोग जुड़े हैं, बिकॉज हमारी सारी कंपनीज इज मेक इन इंडिया, मेड इन इंडिया ओनली. लाइक वेदर वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन एनी EV scooter company, it is getting manufactured in India only. Any tech company which we invest is in India or providing service to foreigners. So हम लोग like we are getting export revenue for India. We are doing everything which is make in India only. And secondly, we believe why we talk about India's economy, because everyone knows right now next 5, 10, 20 years is of India's only. Because आज जो हमारे गवर्नमेंट और आने वाली जो भी लोग हैं वो वही ड्रीम देख रहे हैं कि इंडिया के अंदर 2047 के अंदर विल बी ए डेवलप्ड कंट्री. So if we are going to become the developed country, we need to have manufacturing, we need to have agriculture, we need to have every kind of tech services in India to be provided abroad and also for Indian companies.
सर, जो नए स्टार्टअप्स हैं उनको खाली फाइनेंशियली हेल्प होगी आपकी ओर से या फिर और भी किसी प्रकार से उनको मदद मिल सकती है?
So, see, financially help is one of the part of the business what we are doing, right? But you know, the vision of the company when we started this was to include each and every services to the ecosystem, right? We wanted to support the whole ecosystem and take hand in hand with each and everyone and help them. So it will be not only investments or finance or fundraising a part of it, but addition to that, helping a founder to find a proper co-founder. That will be also one of our part of the vision which we wanted to take it forward. But we are not going in a hurry, right? We have to take step one by one, and then we will be going towards that. Obviously, as you said that what all initiatives we are taking. There are we are tying up with CAs, we are tying up with CS, we are tying up with different people in the ecosystem who are providing these different kind of services and making sure that together we grow and let take this journey ahead together.
So I would like to introduce Adya. She would like to raise a curtain raiser for our upcoming events.
So, I am Adya, I'm the chief organizer for BizNeeti. We are pairing up with BizDateUp to announce our upcoming event, Startup Investors Conclave 24. It is our effort to create a whole startup ecosystem. We'll be having startup owners, investors, venture capitalists, CAs, CFAs, etc. Everyone from the industry coming in. So it's open ground to network and for startups to raise fundings. That's the event. It's happening on 17th March here in the Lalit itself.
Thank you. We now move towards one of the highlights of our conference, the panel discussion. Our esteemed panel members, Mr. Biren Parekh, Mr. Vikram Pandya, Mr. Rajesh Khemani, Ms. Chandni Jeffrey, and our Mr. Jeet Chandan. A unique perspective to the table. They will be discussing on inclusive investing strategies for supporting underrepresented founders in angel investment. Please welcome them with me with a big round of applause, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today for this important panel discussion. We kept the theme, which is very much relevant today, is inclusive investing, strategy for supporting underrepresented founders in angel investment. As we all know, the startup journey and the investment in startup is concentrated towards metros only. If you look at non-metros, then if you look at other aspect of inclusiveness, like a woman co-founder, if you look at a co-founder from LGBT community and other communities, there have been some challenges. Certain people are really privileged. So that is going to be our theme. In today's rapidly evolving investment landscape, promoting diversity and inclusion is not just a moral imperative, but it's a strategic imperative for us to drive innovation and economic growth. With this, I am beginning with the first of my question with all the panelists. Did you know that significant portion of startup investment in India is emerging from 2 and 3? According to recent data, over 40% new ventures are originating from this region, showcasing the emerging entrepreneurial talent and potential beyond metropolitan hub. So, I would.
So when we look at overall, not only in India, right, most of the places when you look at the SMEs which are coming, they are from tier 2 cities always. But what we need to identify here is that the entrepreneurship, we are talking as a word today, but India is always entrepreneurial that way. And this SMEs were always there, even before we were saying startup financing, etc. It is more about how you are looking at the financing. Earlier, if you are just making money for your family and yourself, people say you are in a business. But now when we are trying to look at the growth, when we look at scale, when we look at international capital, That is where we are talking about taking the venture risk, making your business ventureable, and then making sure that you are able to grow beyond what we say is a family business, small family business. And that is where this existing small businesses that we talk about are becoming more and more fruitful in identifying their strength, because they have seen the real world, real Bharat, which is happening on the ground, and they are able to solve the problem statements much better than somebody who is sitting, let's say, 1,000 miles away. So that is where I believe that this is going to happen and continue to happen. And we need to identify the right set of talent, cultivate right set of talent, if not there, because they are not good at everything, of course. And we need to ensure that this set of people can lead the tomorrow's India in the startup industry.
Yeah, so as you rightly said, Rajesh, that in today's world, more of tier 1 cities or tier 1 entrepreneurs are getting the funding, or they have, rather I'll say, access to larger knowledge base to get the funding. Tier 2, tier 3 cities are a little bit struggling in terms of securing the funding. However, I think as of today, I mean, because of whatever internet economy or whatever you can say, that vast knowledge base which is available on the YouTube and everywhere, tier 2, tier 3 people are also able to raise the funds. The support which they require is in terms of how to structure their needs, how to present their requirements, and how to utilize the funds. So that is a kind of a mentorship which tier 2, tier 3 entrepreneurs require, and that's where I think some of the experienced people will be able to mentor them or maybe contribute to their knowledge base, or able to help them in their journey. So I think that is what I feel.
What I like to add to what my previous panelists have pointed out, कि एक तो ये है कि fund raise करने में मुश्किल आती है. Biggest reason is that they don't access to the right network, to the right degree, to the right pedigree, to the right language. These are the barriers. So they have that access, and there is a bias that most VCs operate in because it's risk capital. तो एक कंफर्ट लेवल नहीं होता है, क्योंकि आप शुरू में जब डालते हैं तो कोई बिजनेस मॉडल भी इवॉल्व होता नहीं है. तो अगर मैं आपके साथ इतना बड़ा रिस्क ले रही हूँ तो मुझे क्या कंफर्ट फैक्टर्स, दे लुक फॉर कंफर्ट इन ऑल ऑफ दीज एरियाज कि भाई पेडिग्री IIT IIM से हैं और ये अच्छा मेरा पैसे तो डूबेगा नहीं. दैट इज़ रियली द रीज़न दैट इट्स अ लिटिल स्क्यूड बिकॉज इट्स रिस्क कैपिटल. सो you, the entrepreneurs, have to find a way to de-risk that if you want to succeed. So which he pointed out, Dhiren sir pointed out, that you have to find a way to have a business plan and a model. और आप वो एक clear strategy के साथ approach करेंगे अगर investors को, तो वो आपको easy हो जाएगा ना. उसके लिए of course you need networks, you need platforms like what you guys are trying to create, which gives them access. So I would say the defining word would be access, and the right access with the right skill sets. The other big problem that usually you face is that even if आप entrepreneurs क्या समझते हैं, हमने फंड रेस कर लिया बस हमारा तो निर्वाणा हो गया, ऐसा सोचते हैं कि they feel that the biggest मीडिया भी इसके लिए जिम्मेदार है, because media tries to make a huge deal about fundraising, and you raised fund meaning you are the next big star, right? एक्चुअली आपकी जर्नी उस पॉइंट से शुरू होती है जब आप फंड रेज कर लेते हैं. उसके बाद इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक अ ट्रैप इफ यू डोंट नो हाउ टू गिव रिटर्न टू योर इन्वेस्टर्स. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट इवन विद tier 2, tier 3 cities, this is one mistake they should avoid making, because this is the biggest mistake. 95% of the funded startups paid to return investment, right? What is the reason? This, because they don't have a model to how to utilize the cash, how to take it to the next level, how to have growth level thinking, how to have growth mindset, how to have the right culture, how to have the right execution, how to be connected to the customer issue that they went out to solve, like the case of Byju's we were discussing. They started off all right, then they got into this trap of valuation, fundraising, and then the whole value got dissolved, right? So this is one big sort of caveat that you have to be in tier 2, tier 3. Avoid these entrepreneurs to go the same route, to lock the money and not return investment.
Just to add to what she mentioned, right? So the moment your fundraise becomes a yardstick, that okay, that is a yardstick to success. I'm saying the moment you do that, you are screwed because ultimately people are now focusing only on that. You are not focusing on execution.
That's a milestone of the journey. That's not
Yeah,
the
I'm
end
saying
of the journey.
because correct. I'm saying what happens because of that. The moment you say I have achieved everything, then automatically your focus is on the next fundraise.
So true, so true.
Yeah, so just to add to that, I think one of the things which is very clear differentiator between Metro one and non-Metro entrepreneurs is that in Metro entrepreneurs, they know sort of some level of ethics and governance, okay, which has to be there because of being into the lot of corporates or big industry houses are there in the metros, so they know that, okay, because of whatever networking, etc., that strong governance is required, particularly when you are starting up and when you are raising the funds. So that is what is missing maybe in the tier 2, tier 3 cities because they might not be aware of it, I mean, to some extent. And hence, they fail to establish a governance and which makes a problem maybe later on. Maybe initially first round they might be able to raise it, but later on then they will start facing a problem.
So I think most of the impact-driven startups make a mistake of not having a business or a revenue model and literally operating as an NGO while they are trying to achieve impact. Now what happens again in that is because you're not quantifying and qualifying your impact, you will not. In fact, even every business, I'm not just saying so-called impact businesses. I am saying every business needs to generate impact. Tell me one business which does not generate impact. Every
Creating
business.
profit and giving a taxes to government treasury itself is an impact.
Exactly. Why not? Profit is an impact because when you are profitable, you are creating stakeholder wealth, you are hiring employees, you are giving livelihood to their families. So let's not misunderstand this. Profit is not a bad word. So profit, people, planet. So some companies may say planet first, but that doesn't mean no profits. That doesn't mean no people sort of growth, right? So that's really.
So I'll just like to add over here. I mean, for social startups or social companies or entrepreneurs, it is difficult to raise the funding. But if you take one example, big example, I'll say that Project Mumbai, if you are aware. So during COVID, it was started by I think Shashank, someone. So he started feeding the poor during the COVID because they were not getting the meals because of the lockdown, etc. And he didn't have any funding, okay, but he took a help of the people only, okay, society only. And if you see that everybody was maybe cooking whatever possible for them and maybe delivering it in a sort of a chain kind of a thing, and it was going to the poor and needy people. And that has become such a big impact, or rather such a big NGO or whatever you want to call startup, that was during COVID, it was only for the feeding the people. But now there are various causes which they have started and they are supporting it, and it is all being done purely because of the volunteers, okay, only because of the funding coming from the people, okay, and there is no formal capital which is being raised. But as of today also, he doesn't have to go and seek the funding. People are donating money or people are contributing it in terms of either effort or maybe in terms of space or time or whatever.
So just to add one more point here. I don't know how many of you have heard about social exchange. So when you think about the main two issues, right, in this sort of thing, so you have trust and transparency as an issue from the investor perspective. Like, even if I am doing something, whether it is getting deployed at the right place and how it is happening. So the good part about social exchange is that the way they have structured it, right? And I'm happy to see that there is enough formal structure available that people can utilize. And the way it works, of course people can view more details online, but I'm saying the way it works really makes it easier for investor to look at the donation effectively. And I'm talking about the pure social cause related stuff, but of course apart from that, what we discussed earlier, that okay, impact is by everyone, profit is impact, because look, otherwise if the profit is not there, then the entire valuation breaks. As I said, it should benefit everyone. So if even one party like investor is not getting enough return, you see current scenario, right? Then you are not getting the capital at the right value, right? And it is not like people are then afraid that we are not able to get the return. So this is always going to be a challenge. So you require impact 360 degree kind of impact.
Thank you. I will tweak my question slightly towards the Jeet. He started BizDateUp at the age of 20 in year 2022. Me was also having a same age of 20, kind of 19 kind of it. So with the education, with no formal experience of 1, 2, 3 year of any industry, practically and formally. So did you feel that you fall under unrepresented co-founder in startup ecosystem? You are a part of normal startup ecosystem?
एक चीज़ है, हम लोग वी कम फ्रॉम वेरी गुड फैमिली, तो एक चीज़ था कि हम लोग बचपन से हमारे पेरेंट्स को देखते आ रहे हैं, उससे बाकी हमारे जो कम्युनिटी के लोग हैं उनको देखते आ रहे हैं, वी सी पीपल डूइंग बिजनेस फ्रॉम द स्टार्ट. सो वी हैव ऑलरेडी इन द खून में होता है, तो हमारे ऑलरेडी खून में था बिजनेस करना. ऑफकोर्स एक चीज़ था कि जब हम लोग, मैं 16 का था, वो अपने एज में हम लोग ने दोनों ने उस टाइम में बहुत सारे इंटर्नशिप्स किए होंगे, मल्टीपल लोगों के साथ काम सीखना हो गया. मैंने मेरे बहुत यंग एज में एक ऐप बनाया था, उसको मैंने बेचा भी था, मैंने स्टॉक मार्केट भी सीखा था. सो ये सब बहुत छोटी छोटी चीज़ें हैं, बट बैलेंस शीट पढ़ना उससे बहुत आप इजीली सीख जाते हो. आप जब इवेंट्स के अंदर काम करते हो, आप बहुत सारी छोटी अलग अलग चीज़ें करते हो, तो आपको बहुत सारी चीज़ें सीखने को मिलती है. तो वो धीरे धीरे जब मैं 2020 में बॉम्बे आया मेरा हॉस्टल से, तभी भी 2 साल मैंने इतने सारे मल्टीपल कंसल्टिंग वाले कंपनीज में, खुद का कंपनी भी कंसल्टिंग का था, ऑफ टेक कंसल्टेंसी. सो व्हेन आई अंडरस्टूड हाउ टू डू सेल्स, हाउ टू डू मार्केटिंग. सो एक बेनिफिट जो मेरे को था कमिंग फ्रॉम गुड फैमिली, उसके अलावा घर का ज्ञान. तीसरा था बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ा, बिकॉज वी वांटेड टू प्रूव आवरसेल्व्स इन द इंडस्ट्री. सो उसके लिए शायद अगर आप वो थर्ड टैग दे सकते, सेकंड टैग दे सकते हो, बाकी वी वर नॉर्मल फाउंडर्स.
Okay, great. I think BizNeti team, there are a lot of young coming up engineer can take a note of this and learn a lot of things out of it. And being part of event, that will, I'm sure they will find a lot of help of this in their future career.
And then groomed. Like, for example, what my company does is that investment is okay, but what we do is we underwrite the success of our investments. So what we do is, I don't know if you've heard of this model, but look it up. It's called the Anderson Horowitz model. They are a VC fund, but what they do is they actually ensure that the investors succeed. So it's important that you underwrite the success so that when the startup succeeds, so they given like a 6 months to a 9-month program where they groom and teach the entrepreneur about on leadership, on business model, on mission vision. You'll be surprised. इन्वेस्टमेंट लेने के बाद भी उनको ये भी पता नहीं होता है कि मेरी कंपनी का मिशन क्या है, मिशन और विजन में डिविजन फर्क क्या है नहीं पता होता. Because see, where do you learn this? You learn this on the business. And why is it important? Because you're trying to build a multi-billion-dollar company. You're not friends and family company. You're not doing a family business. So these things become very critical, right? What is the culture of my company? What is the kind of resilience I'm building? What is the deal? So these kind of things are very, very important. That don't do my
One more point I would like to add. 2-3 years back, when I was researching about startup investments, equity investments, I learned a new term, resource funding. So जो इंडिया में भी राइट नाउ बहुत मिसिंग है, आई गेस वेरी फ्यू पीपल आर डूइंग इट. रिसोर्स फंडिंग एक ऐसा कॉन्सेप्ट है, शायद आपकी कंपनी मार्केटिंग करती है, टेक्नोलॉजी बनाती है, सो वो स्टार्टअप्स को हेल्प करती है, वही टेक मार्केटिंग चाहे गाइडेंस बोलो या पूरा प्रोजेक्ट बोलो या पूरा उनको सपोर्ट एंड टू एंड सपोर्ट करने के लिए एक ऐसा सपोर्ट इन रिटर्न ऑफ इक्विटी एंड नॉट कैश प्रोवाइड करती है. आई गेस अगर नेक्स्ट 5 ईयर्स के अंदर इंडिया के अंदर बड़ी कंपनीज जो मार्केटिंग, टेक, HR, मल्टीपल सर्विस प्रोवाइड करती है और वो स्टार्टअप्स को इस तरह हेल्प करे अपने रिसोर्स से फंडिंग करके उनसे इक्विटी ले, आई गेस ये बहुत बड़ा चेंज रहेगा. बिकॉज इफ यू सी द US का जो इकोनॉमी है, वो जो ग्रोथ भी आया था उस टाइम, ये जो टर्म है रिसोर्स फंडिंग वो बहुत पहले से यूज़ हो रहा है. आई गेस अगर ये इंडिया में आए तो टायर 2 टायर 3 तो सही है, और इवन टायर 1 के एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए बहुत हेल्प होगा.
So many interesting points are coming up and suggestions. I think there is a need for targeted fund which focus on tier 2, tier 3 cities co-founder with an investment thesis to focus on that. Helping such a startup from a tier 2, tier 3 to use their solution for their local problem, how to scale it to a country level, state level and then a country level. That will give them a scalability and of course the valuation. Having said that, micro networking event can also be planned probably by the investors so that multiple co-founder can meet with each other, probably, they can support each other, as Jeet has mentioned about resource funding. So that way enabling ecosystem can also get created in those cities. That's a need of the hour. One-to-one approach mentoring can also help us. It's a very encouraging to hear a lot of proactive measures. Our measuring impact is very crucial. So from a angel investor and VC investor, how they evaluate the success of their efforts in promoting investments and startup in Tier 2, Tier 3 city, and in case of diversity co-founders.
So I will tell you one thing, right? When we look at any sort of ecosystem, right? The ecosystem only grows when the entire value chain is benefiting. Not only when, let's say, some players are benefiting or some players are not benefiting. So when we talk about startup value chain, in a way, like today, at least I have seen that government support is increasing, which was not that great earlier. But now, given that right from, let's say, corporate even has their own innovation centers, they have partnership models which are now more opened up, where they are working with more and more startups. So they work in a B2B2C model. Right? So when we think about this entire value chain, today everyone is benefiting. We need to empower those who are still not able to get that sort of access or visibility, or making sure that, I'll give you a very simple example. So I have seen one startup, Indore-based startup. They were not able to really get into the Tier 1 city. So when they partnered with one of the leading banks in Mumbai, suddenly they got access to the customer base, they were able to grow very rapidly. So look at this kind of a value chain model that you were able to suddenly get because of the right partnership, because of the right set of platforms, right? And when we talk about the meeting that you mentioned, right? People doing micro events or micro networking events. But when the entire value chain meets together, whether it is through networking platform or some internet channel, this sort of visibility comes into picture. Suddenly people are able to recognize, okay, you are doing something in this space. And I will tell you what has happened today is that because of generative AI, like ChatGPT, etc. is one thing. But with generative AI on top of this, people can search very smartly anything that they want, right? And fortunately, today with ONDC coming in, you are able to get aggregation of suppliers together, whether it is service or whether it is goods. And suddenly you are able to find that, okay, if I want anything, I can search and I can use AI to identify the right match out of that. So suddenly the visibility is no longer an issue. It is no longer limited to people who are into top 10 anymore. It is an open search platform that even the government is trying to push ONDC in a way. So all these things are going to add up in future. It is just the beginning today, but surely, again slowly it is happening. So that's my thought.
So as you mentioned, Rajesh, so micro networking, or I'll say meetup. Okay, so that is a sort of a popular, I'll say, mode of now meeting in a small groups, and maybe frequently also. So that is very popular, and that I think one thing which can trigger the kind of visibility or maybe sort of allow the networking. Okay, so that is one thing which can allow startups to, develop the visibility and maybe get access to some of the mentoring or whatever support, resource funding, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that is possible. That is one thing. Second is that from the diversity perspective, I think whatever you are doing, that is, I think, is commendable. You are trying to build a global advisory board, which may actually support some kind of a diversified maybe startups and maybe support them in whatever means. Because at times you notice that some of these underrepresented, I say that startups or entrepreneurs are not getting the access, right, as we discussed earlier. So having this global advisory board, maybe some through this micro networking or maybe through meetup, they can get the access to your kind of a, I'll say, platform, and they'll be able to maybe get a larger access and maybe get into whatever bigger market.
Thank you. I want to tweak my question for Ms. Rosni. Ms. Sandhi. With respect to startup, our theme is unrepresented co-founder in startup ecosystem, which means non-metro. But there are a lot of startup in metro also, which work on a social impact. So my question is, social impact startup, be it from a metro or non-metro, they are not represented, they are not included, funding is not so easy. So, how they can plan their business, what strategy they can adopt so that they can get a funding, along with that they can achieve the social objective. So on that, throw some light.
Thank you for that question. So yes, social impact as such is because impact is difficult to define. So how do you define impact, right? So that's a big problem for a startup and for an investor. And the investor language is ROI, return on investments, right? That's what they want to do. Now, what happens in impact startups is that they don't have, while they are trying to create impact, they don't know how to qualify and quantify that impact. So it is very important to have that qualified and quantified, and you have to match it with the revenue model. So you may have heard of this whole methodology called triple bottom line. And there are businesses who are now beginning to learn, and in fact there are businesses which are well established, and now they are instilling this triple bottom line approach onto their existing businesses, like large FMCG companies. Triple bottom line means that you actually, instead of one bottom line, which is just profit, right? Or the P&L is it will only record the profit. Triple bottom line will record people, planet, profit. So they quantify all the three variables and they put a value against it, and it sits on the balance sheet. So when you start quantifying impact, it's all right to say, okay, impact is not a fuzzy, feel good, fuzzy, I'm making a difference, I'm making a change. You need to quantify that, so then when you do that, it becomes very, very mainstream, easier for people to measure and easy for people to fund you, right? That's one way of doing it. Also,
accelerator, incubator and other support enabler play in advancing diversity, inclusion in a startup ecosystem, angel investment, especially startup from non-metro and from a diversity side.
So I have in a way answered this question earlier. Saying that, okay, whenever we are talking about multiple such incubator accelerator at different level, because look, talent comes from anywhere. It doesn't matter whether it is tier 1, tier 2, skill and merit based system should be there, as simple as that. So as long as we are able to identify the right talent and give them platform to come up, then it is good enough for everyone in the ecosystem. So when we think about this, whether government starts incubator accelerator or whether educational institutes themselves start something, then it is very good. If you look at someone like BizDateUp, right? So we are a business school also like SPG, we also look at this sort of activity. BizDateUp on the tech side, what they are doing is amazing. Then similar to that, if you look at US, most of these startups which are there, right, the talent comes because they are getting the right platform at the right age. People are able to find the right hand holding them, and this is something which we should be replicating in India, and that is what we are any which ways looking at when we are talking about this incubators accelerator. They are able to identify right set of talents, provide the resources at the initial stage, mentorships, this kind of networking events that they do, and ultimately they provide right set of resources, as we can call it, because they have the existing community who can help achieve certain objectives. And finally, when we talk about government's role, so fund of fund, when government creates fund of fund, that also then helps ecosystem further. So all these things working together is really the most impactful thing.
Yeah, so I think accelerator incubator has been, has grown up like in a huge number in last 10 years, I said that. And I attended one of the government's seminar, and I understand that before 10 years there were around 40-45 incubator accelerator were there, and in last 10 years it has grown to huge, like 10x, maybe a 20x, I don't know exact number, but yeah, it has grown to a large extent. And because of that, I feel that, or rather it has been noticed that a lot of students or youngsters now are coming up with ideas at the very early stage, and that is at the maybe college level only. most of them, and that is actually inculcating a sort of a, I'll say, chain kind of a thing, okay, whereby since seniors has done it, maybe a juniors also wants to do it in the college, and that's how now the incubator accelerator are actually helping. Now again, within that also, there are several universities or several colleges which are again sort of a minority oriented, and over there also those kind of things has helped to bring up the underrepresented community, to come up with some ideas. So actually overall it is helping from that perspective.
So wanted to add one point which I keep thinking about. This is my grand plan that I keep mulling over. That what if in schools were not, the curriculum was actually skill based, and you identify students very early on, class 8, class 5, class 6, and there are these tests available today, there are diagnostics available where you can identify the skill sets. Like you're born in an entrepreneur family, so you've seen it and you've inculcated it, it's in your DNA, it's in your blood. But there are many such very gifted children which are very early on, if you can identify their skill set and give them a skill-based education instead of curriculum, like right now, okay, class 9 to 10 and all, it's a generic education. So I think the education, because India is such a fabulous country, it's a large country, young, dynamic population, right? If this can be shifted at the ground level, I actually believe that that will then tie up with the structured way of kind of harnessing this whole, which is accelerator, incubators, any such, and then it ties in very beautifully with the early stage investing. So I think if something can be created there, it can be quite path-breaking.
That's a very good idea. Maybe I'd like to add one more thing. While we are looking at maybe just youngster, okay, saying that now college is going on, maybe even school-going students should be encouraged to take up the thing. But I think at the same time we have to also maybe educate the parents, okay, that you need to identify some talent in your kids, okay, so that they are able to maybe leverage it. So I particularly remember two examples recently which had appeared in the newspaper, and maybe many of you also would have read it. There was a young guy, young chap, kid, who used to do a doodling.
Again, as Mr. Rajesh Khemani said, a big round of applause for our panelists. Thank you very much for giving us such insightful session and an enlightening one as well.
Everyone, 3 cheers. Yes? Cheers. 1, 2, 3.